Picture this. You're driving through a neighborhood, nice street, decent houses, but something feels off. The lights are never on. The driveways are always empty. The mail is piling up. No kids playing outside. No cars coming and going. It's not a horror movie. This is happening right now in cities and towns all across America. People are walking away from their homes, leaving the keys on the counter, the furniture still inside, and just leaving. And the mainstream media barely covering it. Today, we're going to talk about why this is happening, where it's happening the most, and what it means for your home's value, whether you own or rent. Stay with me, because this one affects everyone. Let's start with some cold, hard numbers, because they are shocking. Right now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are approximately 15.1 million vacant homes in the United States. That's not a typo. 15 million homes empty, sitting there. And more than 6 million of those are classified as abandoned or other vacant, meaning nobody is paying the bills. Nobody is mowing the lawn. And in many cases, nobody even knows who owns them anymore. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. We have a housing shortage in this country, right? We keep hearing there aren't enough homes. So how is it possible that 15 million homes are just sitting empty? That contradiction is exactly what we need to talk about. And it's not just abandoned properties in the middle of nowhere. In Florida, one of the most popular states in the country, nearly 15% of all housing units sit vacant right now. Florida ranks 5th in the nation for what analysts are now calling ghost homes. The state has a shortage of over 120,000 homes, while at the same time having hundreds of thousands of empty properties. That is absolutely wild. So why is this happening? What is driving people to walk away from what is supposed to be the biggest investment of their lives? There are a few big reasons, and they all come back to one thing. The cost of holding a home has become unbearable. First, insurance. The average single-family homeowner is now paying around $2,370 per year just for property insurance. That's up nearly 70% in just 5 years. In states like Florida and California, some homeowners are being quoted to 3, even 4 times that amount, or getting dropped by their insurance company entirely. Second, property taxes. In many parts of the country, property taxes have doubled in the last few years because home values shot up during the pandemic. Your home is worth more on paper, but that just means the government is charging you more every single year to stay in it. Third, foreclosures are rising fast. According to property data firm ATTOM, foreclosure filings rose 19% year over year as of late 2025. That's 8 consecutive months of annual increases. People who bought homes at low rates are now struggling under the weight of insurance, taxes, HOA fees, and basic repairs, and they simply can't keep up. One woman in Kentucky, a 57-year-old on disability, almost lost her home of over 30 years after her son moved out and she could no longer cover the bills. She only kept it by filing for bankruptcy. That story is playing out millions of times across this country, and most people never hear about it. Now, some of this abandonment is concentrated in specific places, and you need to know where, because it affects property values for everyone nearby. Detroit, Michigan has been dealing with this for decades. At the peak, the city had nearly 100,000 vacant houses. They've demolished over 27,000 unsafe structures and sold another 20,000 to new owners, but the problem is far from solved. Baltimore has nearly 13,000 vacant homes, many of them row houses. When one falls into disrepair, it damages the ones right next to it. The governor has made it a priority to eliminate 5,000 of them, but funding is falling far short. St. Louis, Gary, Indiana, Chicago. These cities are seeing tens of thousands of people leave. And when people leave, homes get left behind. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not just Rust Belt cities anymore. It's spreading to places like Portland, Oregon, Los Angeles, California, even parts of New Jersey and Illinois, which consistently rank among the highest for foreclosure activity in the entire country. Research shows that when a home near you sits vacant, your property's value drops. In Cleveland, homes within 500 feet of a vacant, tax-delinquent property lost nearly 10% of their value. Think about that. Your neighbor walks away from their house, and suddenly your investment is worth less, even though you did everything right. Here's another side of this story that isn't getting enough attention. It's not just sellers abandoning homes. In 2025, just 28 out of every 1,000 homes changed hands. This is the lowest home turnover rate since the early 1990s. Think about that. The housing market has basically frozen. Why? Because mortgage rates are sitting around 7%. Meanwhile, more than 70% of existing homeowners have a mortgage rate below 5%. Nobody wants to give that up. So they stay put. But that means first-time buyers, people trying to get their first home, are getting completely locked out. First-time buyers now make up only about 1/5 of all home purchases, a record low. And Redfin reported that roughly 1 in 6 recent home shoppers abandoned their search entirely because prices and rates are just too high. People aren't just abandoning homes. They're abandoning the dream of owning one. So what does all of this mean for the average person watching this video right now? If you own a home, pay close attention to what is happening in your neighborhood. 1 or 2 vacant homes nearby can start a chain reaction that hits your property value. Keep an eye on insurance costs. They're only going up, and make sure you're not over-leveraged if rates stay high. If you're renting and hoping to buy someday, the picture is tough, but not impossible. Markets are starting to shift. Inventory is rising in many cities. Sellers are sitting on properties longer. In some markets, you actually have negotiating power right now that didn't exist 2 years ago. And if you're thinking about which markets to avoid, places with rising foreclosures, surging insurance costs, population decline, and high vacancy rates should be big red flags. Florida condos, Illinois suburbs, and parts of the Northeast are all areas where these warning signs are flashing right now. Look, this isn't about doom and gloom for the sake of it. It's about being informed so you can make smart decisions for your family. 15 million empty homes. Foreclosures up 19%. First-time buyers locked out of the market. Insurance costs up 70%. These are real numbers, affecting real people. People like that woman in Kentucky who almost lost her home of 30 years. The mainstream media isn't connecting these dots, but that's exactly what we do here. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And drop a comment below. Are you seeing abandoned or empty homes in your neighborhood? I want to know. We'll see you in the next one.